And we're back with the Vacuous Perspective, episode 5. I believe it.
The Lord be with you.
Oh boy, you're going there already. So let me just tap into your child brain, see if it's still there. You ready?
Yep.
And the Lord be with you.
And also with you.
Lift up your hearts.
We lift them up to the Lord.
Let us give thanks to the Lord our God.
It is right to give him thanks and praise.
There you go. You did it. You did it. Good. You passed the test. You're a Reformed Catholic.
I think there's one more line that the priest says.
Does he after that? Hang on. Let me just think. Let us give thanks and praise. Did he just say
something like it's like some really self-fulfilling thing? I think it says it is right and a good and joyful
That's
thing.
what we're doing. We're saying that.
No. It's when you say it's right to give him thanks and praise.
Yeah.
The priest says it is right.
It is good.
And joyful thing. But it's joyful. See, I don't think we said joyful. It's just it's great. It's great. Celebrate.
Well, because we're not queued for another line, we don't remember that line. We don't have to remember that line. Because if there's no response,
we trail off.
I don't. Yeah. Okay. We've done but you know, I've never really thought about it too much. But the parts where you're participating in the mass, it's pretty rare, right? You don't really get to participate much.
Not really.
Not until you get first communion. Then you get to eat after you eat after that. So you give thanks to the Lord our God, and it's right to give him thanks and praise. And then chow time. After that, I'm pretty sure it's like around the same time. But apart from that, you're not really involved.
Meals, couple of stands.
You're not involved, and you don't get the wine. But you're not involved in most of it.
No, and I can see why the singing. What's the name for those the sort of church ceremonies that are more singing and like more joyful?
They're hymns.
No, they're traditionally in like the more ghetto kind of black neighborhoods in the US, and they're like real celebration.
Yeah.
They sing fun. That's like a rock concert.
Yeah, there's that scene in the Blues Brothers where I think James Brown is the priest. And it's popping off. Like people are doing backflips in the aisles, and it's amazing.
That's kind of pretty solid.
That's where the Blues Brothers have their moment where they discover that they've been given a quest from God to save the orphanage that they were brought up in. Yeah, so they have they have literally the light of God shine on them, and then go, and they see a light or something, and then they start doing backflips in the church, and you know it's a great scene. James Brown.
I couldn't figure out if the Blues Brothers were cool dudes or not.
Yeah, in the movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're kind of like portrayed to be like losers, right? But they're the heroes.
They're sort of like hip losers.
But they're the heroes of the movie, and they're definitely the worst instruments in the band by the end of the movie. You know what I mean? It's Dan Aykroyd and John Belushi. And they're the worst instruments in the band because they had really famous blues artists in the band. Like, Aretha Franklin has a song, and there's some really famous guitarists and whatnot that also pop up in the movie.
Okay.
Not to mention the young Carrie Fisher with an RPG.
Okay. Sex. Pure sex. What is Dan Aykroyd's go at the moment? So he's got that crystal head
vodka or something. Is it vodka?
Yeah,
I think it's a vodka. He's an alien guy. He's a big time
alien guy, right?
Yeah.
That vodka's sort of, there's a lot of, I don't know if it's purified through crystals or things like that. It's supposed to be something that.
Isn't it just a cool bottle?
It's a cool bottle. I think there's some process that's a little bit like I need to fact check that one, but I think it goes through like diamonds or something like that.
Yeah, but why is it is it a sort of, is he going for an alien vibe with the crystal skull? Like,
Oh, it's very Indiana Jones, isn't it?
Yeah, that was a bad movie. We don't talk about that movie.
Wait, is that
that's the fourth one.
Oh, the fourth one. I don't even know if I've seen that. Wait, which is the one where he apparently survives an explosion in a bathtub?
That's Kingdom of Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
I've put that out of my head, I think.
Yeah, look, it was bad.
Okay,
Hopefully
here
they
we
do
go.
better.
So Crystal Head vodka. The blends are quadruple distilled and 7 times filtered, with the final 3 filtrations through Hecarim diamond crystals, which are actually a type of
Diamond crystals.
double terminated quartz rather than diamond. Oh, see, there you go. They're not even actually diamonds. It's a double terminated quartz.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
Is that worse than a diamond? Is that on par with diamonds?
It's worse because quartz is common. Quartz is
Why do you
super
want
common.
your vodka filtered through diamonds?
And that's from the Crystal Head Vodka official website. That,
I'm sure.
yeah.
So do other fucking blends put their thing down gold, platinum, diamond tubes and shit, and that's what makes it a better? Come on, man. That sounds like marketing.
Oh, 100% it is. I want all liquids run through gold pipes, pure gold, not gold plated.
At least. There's other precious metals that we can get too, surely. No, but he's an alien guy. Are you an alien guy?
There's a spectrum of alien guys.
Yes, there is. It sort of spans the absurd to the plausible, doesn't it?
But I think what is interesting about aliens, as the question has not gone, the question is now, where are the aliens? Not
Yeah.
do aliens exist?
Yeah, correct.
That is, I think the mainstream question is where, when I say aliens, I mean life of any sort, anywhere in the universe.
Yeah, it doesn't even have to be intelligent life, does it?
No,
Really?
no. And so when I say aliens, but then an alien guy, when you say you're an alien guy, I'm not really I'm not a, UFO, beams people up, operates on them kind of guy, but I am a not physically getting beamed up there, but mentally people going places and having other experiences and interacting with aliens in some form of consciousness. I'm into that.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I'm not saying I've done that. I think that's entirely possible. That's all their own experience as well. But so it's kind of impossible to verify.
Of course, yeah, sure. But I guess I'm to answer the question. I guess if I was to answer it, I would say that I don't know if or I struggle with the whole concept, of the Nimsk sort of stuff, right? We're essentially an Air Force pilot who pilots jets, really fast ones, has an encounter, if you like, with this object that's moving so unbelievably quick, and he's just saying that. He's saying it's moving so unbelievably quick, and I'm thinking, you're a jet guy, I'm a couch potato. You know what you're talking about. I don't.
Who am I
right?
to question Jetman?
Jetman knows more than regular man.
More than couch potato man.
Way more than couch potato man. So when he says there's nothing out there that we do that does this, there's nothing out there that other countries are doing that does this, right? The question inevitably becomes like, you just throw it straight, you just handball straight to the aliens, just like they used to do with the pyramids. You just be like, yep, aliens, boom, easy solve.
It's a bit like the God argument, right? You can't explain things and they just say it's God. It's just a filler when you don't know.
Something interesting. Did we talk about The Simpsons last week? Was that last week or the week before?
I remember Drederick Tatum.
No. It was about the maths in The Simpsons, the
Yes.
mathematics in The Simpsons. The fact that the writers of The Simpsons were massive nerds, or at least a couple of them were. I sort of went into this a bit further because I found out that there was a couple of really, really smart dudes, and when they finish an episode, they'd all get together. All the writers would get together, and they'd be like, "Here's what I've written," and then they'd bounce ideas off each other to like flesh it out even more. And he was the one putting his hand up, going, "Oh man, put this in," right?
Trying to put math jokes in, or
putting math jokes in, like getting his math jokes in there just to see if the public noticed, which of course they didn't for a long time, as we talked about.
Yeah.
And there was this video from this mathematician that I was watching, and they talked about why are the Simpsons? Because all the mathematical equations are all based on the decimal system, right?
Right.
In the Simpsons and in real life,
Right.
right?
As opposed to what?
Using 4 as the base, or 8, sorry, as the base, because they have 4 fingers on each hand, right? They wouldn't have developed decimal mathematics if they had 4 fingers on each
Right.
hand.
Right. Yeah.
So, but there is one character in The Simpsons who has 5 fingers on
Oh,
his
don't tell
hand.
me it's the
What?
that fucking scientist dude.
No, it's not.
No. Who is it?
No, no. The idea is more profound, and we've talked about him already.
It's not Drederick Tatum.
It's God.
Oh, fuck off. Really?
Yeah. So you see God in a couple of episodes of The Simpsons, or maybe just once, right?
Okay.
Nevertheless, he extends his hand to Homer, I'm pretty sure. It must have been an episode where
Yeah,
Homer
okay.
dies. He's got 5 fingers. He's the only character in The Simpsons who's got 5 fingers. It's fascinating.
What do they have for? I've never really thought about it. It's just been something I've grown up with and I just don't question.
Yeah, the video also went into that a little bit. I probably should link it somewhere. But he talked about, because if you draw 5 fingers on like Bart Simpson, there's something weird about it. I can't remember what it is, but
just
a lot of
too fingery. Yeah, too fingery. Yeah. These for a cartoon. Okay.
A lot of cartoon characters, and maybe this was just an established thing that happened in the early parts of animation, but all the cartoon characters have this 4 finger thing going. Essentially, 3 fingers and a thumb, right? They've all got this. It's very strange.
How does this tie into the maths and the decimal system?
Well, I guess that he's just saying that like it's not people who control the mathematics of the universe. It can only be God, right? And he's got 5 fingers.
Do you think aliens have 5 fingers?
That's a good question. I don't know. Maybe because in your head, right? If you picture an alien, you're picturing something that's almost aquatic in nature. It's got a slimy skin. It's got like a weird shaped head, right? You put it underwater and it's just completely believable. You know what I mean?
I can't see an alien swimming very well. Like it doesn't have its contours aren't fishy.
I know what you're saying. But in my head anyway, they're big, blobby. Well, they're not big and blobby, but the skin's like looks like you could like push it. You know what I mean? I don't know why, but
soft, gelatinous body.
And I think the reason for that is that the most alien thing I can think about is like the depths of the ocean. That's the best reference point that I've got.
They're so alien. They're so
alien. So like that's what you picture when you're thinking of an alien. You're going like, oh, okay, like an octopus thing or like a crab thing, right? And I've talked to you about this before, but the crab like somehow independently evolved 4 or 5 times from lesser species.
It's wild. So do they all currently exist, these separate evolutions of it, or
I don't think
did they get wiped out? See, they wouldn't get wiped out if they're so successful and keep evolving. Like a crab wouldn't get wiped out. I think that they might be from different strains, like different ancestors.
It's possible. But obviously not a crab expert, not an evolution expert.
Maybe we're evolving to be crabs.
No, it's this idea that this little animal, this tiny little animal gets these claws and goes, man, I'm a fucking crab. And then they get wiped out. And then I guess from either that species or a lower one even, that ends up being the crab again. They're just this ideal
it's perfect
thing, right? Yeah.
Very effective, efficient. And naturally it must be funneling evolution down that path. Right? If it keeps happening, then the natural forces, it's selecting for those kind of things.
True. It's all inputs, outputs, what the environment is, and the best adaptation it can do. But the crab just keeps coming back, man. That's the thing about the crab. You can't keep it down. Maybe the aliens will have like pincers then, big pincers.
Well, this ties back into our favorite asteroid, the one that killed the dinosaurs and led to our success.
Yes. Yeah, true.
What's the name of that asteroid? Does it have a name so we can actually refer to it by its proper name? Or
Oh, yeah, I think it was something like, I don't know, the
we got some.
Savior.
Jesus. There was a large a asteroid 4 times the size of the Empire State Building that went past Earth within the last week.
Yeah, and just for reference, how many meters is that? Because we know the distance of the one that killed the dinosaurs. What was it? Like 13 kilometers across or something?
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
130 kilometers across, something like that.
I think it was 12 or 13 Ks. I think you said.
Yeah, okay. So for reference, that's the one that did a lot of damage. What's this one like?
This one's 1.8 kilometers in
Ooh,
diameter.
it is a scary boy.
Scary boy, scary boy. I think its name here is 7335. So it missed our planet by 4 million kilometers.
Yeah, which they call a near miss, right?
Yeah, so it's a near miss because it's nearly 10 times the average distance between the Earth and the Moon. I think anything within the 10 times, it seems, just from what I've been gathering, 'cause there seem to be a lot of asteroids lately. I think Google knows that I'm into it and it just keeps feeding me stuff about it. But they seem to only really be concerned about ones within 10 moon lengths of Earth. But this one is a big boy, apparently the biggest it's going to be within that distance this year.
Interesting, but where does that one go?
I think this one is in some form of orbit around the sun. It must be, and
so it's going very quickly.
Yeah, and I think they actually even what's the word for predicting into the future? I forget the word. When you have a graph and you have a couple of points, extrapolate where it's going to be in the and where Earth is going to be in the very, because it's all clockwork, right? It's just computer simulation, and so they track like when it's going to be close again.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and I don't think this thing I was looking at said anything about that, but
one that hit Russia, or that didn't hit Russia but like burnt up in Russia's sky, that was around 20 meters or something.
20 meters, yeah. And this one was going the same speed, so it seems to be a pretty common speed, 20 kilometers a second when it was sort of, that's its speed in space.
With 20 kilometers a second.
Yeah.
It's rocketing.
Oh yeah.
But the numbers, again, once you talk in space, the numbers go stupid. They just go really dumb.
Just gets really dumb, yeah. Yeah, but don't worry, we'll have that asteroid redirection system up and running. You know, by the time that thing comes back, we'll be all over it.
That can never go wrong.
Can't go wrong.
That can never go wrong.
Bruce Willis is on it.
Yeah. Could it go wrong? I mean, obviously, if like it didn't work, if it's straight up just, oh no, we can't get it to work today. Sorry. There must be.
You don't want the launch to go sour. Right? You want to have a second one on the launch pad ready to go. You don't want a challenger situation.
No, because this thing will be orbiting the planet, right? It'll be like a thing out in space. It'll be a distant thing. They want to get it early. They won't want to wait.
Oh no, yeah. You're right. But I mean, oh fuck, who knows? I mean, because it's going to take time to get out to it. What you need to do is construct spacecraft in space. That's what you need.
Right.
You need machines up there. That's the ticket. Because then you just have to get the materials up there.
Oh god, why is it so tough still?
Oh,
it's so hard.
It's just not fair.
I think we live in a pretty incredible age. I mean, I never thought I'd see a rocket land itself completely like by itself. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
to an extent.
I didn't think I'd see a robot dog. Those two things, the rocket landing and the robot dog, that Boston Dynamics dog, are both the weirdest, unintuitive things you ever see. They just don't, something doesn't seem right about them.
Like it's fake.
The rocket landing looks like it's in reverse for starters.
Yeah, they've just reversed the footage.
That's probably all it is. It's probably all bullshit.
No, but I saw there's a video game that I used to play a bit. I think you've played it as well, Kerbal Space Program, where you make your own rockets and stuff.
Yeah,
I saw a guy write his own code for a self-landing rocket in that, and they're just playing a video game.
And it works.
Well, that's the maths, isn't it? It's maths. You got to be good at maths.
Get the Simpsons on it.
But the
Get the
other thing,
Simpsons
I
writers
guess,
on
is
it.
that this guy could do trial and error for, it just murder rocketeers, blow up millions and billions of dollars worth of spaceship parts, and nothing happens. You know what I mean? Like, it's just a video game, so he's fine with it. Means you can do a lot more trial and error.
And some things seem impossible, like all the rocket launches and everything else. And other things just seem relatively incompetent. But in the sense that, I don't know if you've seen photos of what's happening, or I think they're clearing it slowly, but what's happening outside of Shanghai with their shipping. So Shanghai is a massive port, of course, and I think their actual port spans something like 60 kilometers. So if you think about, Fremantle Port just has its like interface with the ocean in terms of where things can dock is very limited, whereas Shanghai's is huge, but obviously reliant on exports and probably have like ginormous imports. Of course, it's going to be a huge port because of COVID and the
lockdowns.
The zero policy type position the government's taken over there. The shipping, there's so many boats waiting off the port, like crazy amounts of boats. I think they were saying I think it's between 25 and 30% of all boats in the world, all shipping boats, are waiting to berth at a port.
Oh my God.
And 1 in 5 of those is outside of Shanghai.
1 in 5, so isn't...
So it's only about 5 or 6%, I think.
Wow.
But of the world's the shipping boats.
Wow.
You should see. I'll send you a photo of all the boats waiting. It's like it's just sort of the cargo ships and things all moored outside of Shanghai, and they're trying to divert them to other ports in China because they're trying to deal with the backlog. But apparently it's gone. This is why also inflation's going crazy, because the cost of materials is skyrocketing for like building and things like that, because everything's held up in port, and there's all costs associated with demurrage costs and things that you have to pay. So it's all just snowballing. And they reckon because it's a bit like a car crash on the freeway, you clear the car crash, but it's gonna the knock-on effects will take a long time to clear. They reckon that the delays in Shanghai are going to be till the end of the year because they just can't. Like, firstly, they're still in lockdown over there.
Yeah, are they?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought maybe they're nearing the end of their...
Well, I've got a client over there that I've spoken to, and he says he's still in lockdown. And I'm like,
wow.
Like, man, are you kidding me? It's been ages. It's been like 2 months, I reckon.
I don't know. I don't know when they did the Shanghai wide.
Yeah, maybe they've eased it in some areas. Who knows? But that the supply chain. That's what I mean about it's not incompetence. I guess it's just like factors affect. Like it's almost unforeseeable. Like things. Yeah, they didn't have to think that they're going to have to shut down their ports and not have workers and not have truck drivers and things coming in and out.
The knock-on effects are so massive.
And all the boats are on their way already. So the boats are loaded, the boats are going, and they know, they're like, well, what are you supposed to do?
Get in line.
Yeah, it's a bit like the Suez Canal situation. I didn't really follow that too much, but that was apparently it was costing, some billions of dollars a day.
That's so wild. Pretty incredible. It's pretty incredible. Pretty incredible that boats are still like the main thing. You know what I mean? For doing that kind of stuff, we're still going across the ocean.
Loaded up.
Oh boy. Like they were pretty good back in the day. I mean, if you could build boats.
Yeah, it's pretty similar. We haven't really changed too much, have we? Yeah. The old shipping channels, but now we carve canals through continents
to make
difference.
more.
There's a couple. There's the Panama Canal, Suez Canal. There's probably some others. That's pretty wild. Like, what a time saver going through the Mediterranean and popping out in sort of India way.
They just did the maths and went, yeah, we just cut this bit of land out and we all make squillions, so it's fine.
I did the math. Yeah.
They'd have some pretty good deals on that, you know. Hey, in old news,
Control the shipping channel. You're laughing.
yeah, in old news, Clark, here's a bit of
Yeah.
old news
Yeah.
for you.
Give me.
This would have
Yeah.
been relevant if you were looking at, say, the 2016 election, or was it 2016? Yeah, the 2016 election.
2016 in the US.
Yeah, in the US.
Give me
Yeah.
some old news. Yeah.
Were you there?
I was there. I know.
You
I
were
was in
there.
Washington DC, baby.
You were in Washington, D.C. in 2016.
I was there for the season finale of America.
Here's some news you might know already.
Okay.
Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump, distant relatives.
Get out. How distant?
I don't know how to read this, but they share common ancestry.
The shrew.
The shrew. Actually, he sounds quite famous. The first Duke of Lancaster, John of Gaunt, and Catherine Swynford, the Duchess of Lancaster, which I assume, because they were married, and they had children, and it's sort of
Well, when was that? Is old news. When was this? When was this guy born, or what era was he in? The Duke.
Oh, I have. There's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20 people. Down the line from John.
That's significant.
Quite a lot.
That's like what? Okay, so if you're going for every century, maybe could be the 16th century or something.
Okay, so it's a while back.
17th, 16th century, maybe.
Yeah, but the Duke and Duchess of what do you think? Where do you think our common ancestor is? It's got to be out there.
What's your parents? What's your sort of lineage?
I'd say I can only really go far back as my great grandfather, I guess.
Yeah,
you know
so
what I
do you
mean?
know when the first person in your line came to Australia?
Yeah.
Do you know approximately when? I don't know. I don't have good data on this.
Oh, that's a good point, actually. Actually, no, I don't have any good info on this.
It's interesting, right? It's not that long ago either.
It's only
been 200 years.
10 years maybe ago that would have gone. That would have happened.
Well,
I can not the oldest Australian in my family. I wouldn't be able to tell you what year that was.
I was told, I don't know if my parents were just trying to make me feel like I'm not a convict. They said that, I think it was on my mum's side, someone goes back to a free settler in Adelaide, which I find hard to believe because I think, the chances are you're going to come from, I don't know what the data is on this either, but the chances are I think you'd come from a convict.
Nah, not necessarily.
What were the proportions?
Oh, I see what you're saying. You're saying
like 80% convicts, 20% free settlers? I don't know.
Don't know. There's a lot of it. It depends. It depends on the year they came in, I guess. And then the best you'd be able to do is stats. But you could probably find all that out. You know that, right?
I've had my DNA sequenced.
Sequenced? What does that mean?
I have on my computer my DNA code in full.
You got your DNA code?
Yeah. Got it sequenced. Maybe send it off as a birthday present.
What can you do with it?
Fuck all at the moment. I just wanted the data. I thought you'd be able to do more with it. You can, sometimes I have someone that you can get in contact. Yeah, I can make it. I don't really, maybe I should be worrying about this data more than I do. But you can, obviously they take the data pretty seriously. But in the platform I got it on, you can upload it and they
check it against their records.
Yeah, and if you share some kind of common ancestry with someone, they notify them, and that you have the ability to reach out to people of common ancestry. So I've had 1 or 2 emails that I've never responded to. It's been like, hey, tell me that you're whatever. Yeah,
show us your DNA sequence.
Hey.
You'd meet them and you'd be like, hey man, show us your DNA sequence. Sure. And they're like, hey man, show us yours. You'd be like, yeah, here it is.
I was hoping that you would be able to determine, I know there's some genetic factors with diseases that make you more common. Like there's, for example, my mum's got it's called the BRCA1 gene mutation, which is if you have it, you're something like, I think there's it becomes a significant chance that you're going to get breast cancer if you're a female. If you're a male, it's not really that carcinogenic, or it's not really a risk factor that is to be concerned about. But I got tested to see if I had the BRCA1 mutation, because it doesn't matter, because I had a 50% chance of having the same mutation as my mum.
True.
So it's a government thing where, because I have a potential to have it, then it's just a free thing where I can go and get tested for it, because if I have it, then I have a 50% chance of passing on to my children. And then you actually have to start thinking, if I have a female and she's got a 50% chance of having something that is going to give her a higher chance of getting a particular type of cancer, maybe you want to know about that going in. So luckily I don't have it, which was actually pretty nice to know. But again, that one risk factor, although it's pretty strong, there's probably way more potent risk factors that I don't even care about. Like the amount of sugar intake and things like that is probably far more determinative of whether you're going to get cancer or not. And I don't do too much about that, although I don't have that much sugar, but
Totally. But you want really to be able to put your DNA sequence thing in, and it tells you, and you could put in like Donald Trump or something, and then be like, all right, find it. Find out where we diverge or whatever.
Yeah, I mean? And it's loose. Like it tells me where my origins were from a genetic point of view. So it says that you're like 40% bloody, English. It kind of, it obviously they're generalizations. There's no hard and fast dates and lineages and things, but they take, because it's so, your DNA code, it's so much data that they can use to compare against everyone else is uploading, their DNA as well. So you got, a wealth of data. You can actually make some pretty, I guess broad generalizations, but it wasn't as interesting as I thought it would be. I think it cost me $80. It was a present from the government. She knew, because way back when, in the 80s, it sent companies bankrupt or insolvent trying to sequence the first DNA code. It cost billions of dollars, and I think a couple went under trying to do it. Wow. And I think the government just sort of had to not bail them out, but sort of, yes, they took it so far, and then another company would come along and kind of pick it up and keep going with it. But it took billions of dollars to sequence the first human, the whole genome of a human. Yeah. And then it's like, it could cost me $80. I was like, fuck yeah, I'm going to do
You're saving billions.
I'm saving billions. I'm saving billions. I'm a fucking billionaire. It's the same thing. It reminds me of space travel. Like the way the cost of space travel is coming down.
That's how we'll look at it one day. Yeah, that's how we'll look at it one day. Yeah, of course, man.
Actually, speaking of launch costs, I got some data on that recently.
Launch costs?
Yeah. So
mission costs?
No, launching, like the launch cost of getting something up per kilogram.
Oh, yeah.
So it used to be like, an obscene amount per kilo. I think it was $10,000 a kilo, because the astronauts would joke about a $10,000 bottle of water they'd be drinking.
Yeah, okay.
Now, do you want to know what it is? Predicted to be by 2040.
Okay, predicted to be by 2040. Okay, leeway. Yep, cool.
Between 33 and 100 US dollars.
For what?
Per kilogram.
Okay.
So I could send myself up in 2040 for $8,500 on the higher end of that.
Wow.
Actually, I should say 7,500 because I'm 75 kilos at the moment, but I'm sort of anticipating I'll put on 10 kg by 2040.
You got a backpack as well.
Got a backpack, got some things.
Yeah. Because you want to do stuff when you get to the moon or whatever, right?
Oh yeah, I want to
pitch a tent,
play Catan.
Pitching a tent on the moon would be pretty great. Just put a big air shield around it. Yeah, put a big shield.
You're talking about getting a boner on the moon. Just pitching a tent on the moon.
No,
It
I
was
just
pretty
think it'd
great.
be.
Oh, because there'd be less gravity. Just boing right up.
Yeah, well, they got that. No, I just think that would be. That's unbelievable to me. As in, I don't think I'll live long enough for there to be tent pitching on the moon, right? In a safe environment where you don't have to wear a helmet, right? You know what I mean?
Right? Space
Just
cake.
theme park on the moon. You know, that's absurd to me. But absurd things have happened while I've been alive
Mm-hmm. Oh,
that
yeah.
I didn't think would happen. Those things have happened.
Like everything, computers.
Well, yeah. Yeah, the internet. I was alive for that. That's pretty wild.
Hey, think about what the Queen has been through.
Yeah. Yeah. A
Like,
bit more.
what, okay, and also because she occupies such a powerful position in terms of her interaction with
True.
governments, powerful people in other countries. So her visibility is far greater than an average person, right? She gets all the, you know, more information and data, security, things like that than the average person. So she's seen some inside workings of like so what? She's like 70 years in power
Yeah, it's like a
as the
record, right?
Queen, and what, she's 90 or something, 95 or whatever,
97, I think. I don't know.
97. So
I don't know.
just like, so she was born, okay, so if she's almost 100 years old, she was born in 1925.
Let's go with that.
So she was 20 when World War II ended.
Yeah, and the Queen, right?
And
Ish.
the Queen. Oh, man, so she's gone from that. So then 20 years later, or about 10 years later, that we start to become spacefaring in the sense that we send up some satellites. Then another 10 years after that, we put someone on the moon, allegedly.
Yep.
Then now we're talking about putting someone on Mars. Like, she's lived through the most
Now we're talking.
transformative time in human history.
No, Clark. Now we're talking robots. We're talking artificial intelligence. We're talking self-driving cars. We're talking about machine limbs. You know what I mean?
Bionic
That's what
limbs.
she's going to live through. She may be the first robot woman.
The girlfriend, we were looking in the paper about, I don't know, a year or so ago, waiting for a coffee, and there was this woman in a photo, and there was a headline, sort of, I can't remember if it was underneath or to the side, I couldn't remember exactly where it was, and it said "sex monster," right, in capital letters.
Oh, that'll grab you.
Yeah, and the next to it is a picture of a woman, and it's the Queen, and she's wearing how she's always in the monotone suit with the hat and stuff. Not when I say suit, a dress, like, what do you call it? Like, like the matching, like, blazer and everything else. It's always one color. I don't understand why that is. That's just her thing. Loves it. And then the girlfriend looks at it and goes, "Funny, I wouldn't take her as being a sex monster."
Yeah.
And I was, it's the Queen. And she was like, "Oh, is it?" I'm like, "Yeah, of course she's not a sex monster. Maybe she's a sex monster."
So we're talking. There's a headline on the newspaper.
Well, it was like two articles, kind of. I can't remember if it was side by side or one above the other. But it looked like you could actually confuse the headline of "sex monster" and attribute that picture to that article, but it was attributed to a different article.
Yeah, so that's whoever passed that across the editor's desk, and they went, "Yep, cool, print that." They didn't go "sex monster Queen," it was someone's last day at the photography department. You know what I mean? And they just were going out with a bang.
I think most people thought that it wouldn't be a source of confusion.
Yeah, of course.
Don't assume anything.
No, but I love that. I love that.
I love it. I love that. Maybe they were having a little crack at her, maybe it was like a little hint.
I think they were saying she looked great. Like, that's all I think they're doing. They're just giving her.
I should have taken a photo of that.
Oh man, if it existed, it exists. So it's on the internet, man. We should be able to find that, surely.
Man, speaking of tech and everything, they're 3D printing rocket engines now.
Yeah.
See, when I talk about making spaceships in space, that's what I'm talking about. You get a 3D printer up there, you get up the raw materials, or you mine them from a neighboring asteroid or something and bring them across, which is obviously far more difficult. But who knows in the future? Or you bring the 3D printer out to the asteroid and you just sit it on there and start getting the raw materials and making the gear.
I'll give NASA a free idea if they need any
Not for free.
fresh ideas.
Give it to them for free. They've got money.
Here we go.
least
You
charge
make
them.
robots, yeah,
Yeah.
and you put them in orbit, and their gig is mine old, no longer used
Rubbish.
rubbish in space. Yeah.
Okay.
Clean up.
I'll stress test this for you a little bit.
Yep.
So things are orbiting at, depending on a lot of factors. Let's just say 10 kilometers a second.
Yeah. Yep.
You have to approach that thing at the same relative speed.
Not necessarily.
So what, you going to net it?
No. We're gonna launch as per normal. Get that angle going. We're gonna be in that fast orbit around Earth, just like it, just like the objects, and they'll have like thrusters or something on them, so they'll be able to go back and forth on that lateral line.
But when you decelerate, they'll drop orbit.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of research going on into how to clean up all the debris in outer space because
nets, right?
Well, nets have been proposed. There's a Japanese company. There's literally a Japanese company that's working on nets.
Yeah. But was it like 3 rockets launching at the same time, connected by a net? And
I don't know, a big trawler. There's this huge trawler up there. There's I think they're trying to decelerate things with lasers. To get them out.
Shoot them out of the sky.
Essentially, I don't know how, because I think you'd be adding energy to the system if you're hitting something with a laser. So I would thought if anything, you accelerate it.
You can hit it. If it's coming at you, and you hit it, it'll slow down, right?
Oh, yeah. I guess yeah.
But if it goes past that point, then you'd be speeding it up, which you might want to do as well. Why don't we just rocket them off into space? Why don't we just shoot them out?
It's an option.
Just bigger laser and fire it like as they're passing. Just give them a big boom, send them.
Which bigger laser?
We'll just probably wipe out our own satellites, right? That's probably what will happen with the big net.
Get the trawler up there. Hey, I wanted to raise this because we didn't quite. It was right at the end of last week's episode, and we were talking about. I'm not going to go into it, but we're talking about Agent Smith and whether he's the one in the Matrix.
Yes, I remember discussing.
There's 2 factors. One is for my argument, and one is against. I think Agent Smith is the one. You were sort of stress testing that, and one of the big issues was that the third factor of being the one was that he destroys the Matrix, and we sort of said really either Neo or Agent Smith sort of fit that bill because Neo's kind of at the source, and I was saying that Neo's a vessel for Agent Smith returning to the source because I don't want to revisit. You can revisit the end of the episode yourself. But there's I don't know if it's a little known fact, but something I came across. The number plate of Agent Smith when he first arrives in Matrix 1 is IS 5416.
Yeah, which is a Bible quote.
Bible reference, the book of Isaiah.
Love it.
And I'll read it. I've just got it here for you.
Please.
So, behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work, and I have created the waster to destroy.
Wow.
Case closed. No. So that really goes to, because firstly, Agent Smith says he's going to destroy the Matrix. So all Neo has going for him is that he was at the source when the Matrix.
No. I would say that Isaiah Bible quote references 2 people. The smith who cometh forth and bloweth to create the instrument.
Right.
Yes. for his work, and the other
And
person.
I've created the ways to destroy. Okay, that's actually pretty good. That's pretty good. But okay,
No, but I still
yeah.
agree that Smith is the Smith in that scenario. But the interesting thing is that kind of he created the instrument, which was Neo in the end. Because
And
if
that
Agent Smith,
bringeth forth, yeah.
if Agent Smith is the one, he still needed Neo to at least think he was the one to get back to the source and jump in his dick or whatever he did at the end of the movie, right?
Yep, yep.
So the prophecy, if you want to call it that, on the number plate, it plays again to like both outcomes. But I love that that's brought up in the first one. That's a really cool thing. It means it was conceptually there from the beginning, potentially.
They are a very yin-yang sort of
Absolutely.
situation where they're sort of both necessary. You know, it's like the whole
Absolutely. It's a
good,
Batman
evil.
Joker
Yeah,
thing.
yeah. But I mean, everyone regards Neo as the one and not so much Agent Smith. The one that really undermines my whole argument is the Oracle telling Trinity that she'll fall in love with the one because she has nothing to do with Smith really and despises him,
Again.
of course. And she's into Neo. That's the big one that I don't like.
Yeah, see, that means that there's a few players here who are influencing things, you know, because the Oracle goes, "You're not the one," and then he goes back in the second one and goes, "You said I wasn't the one," and she was like, "I told you what you needed to hear," blah blah blah, right? Because she couldn't just go, "Yeah, you're the one. Start floating plates, stop wasting time. Let's have some shit going around here." She kind of, "You're not the one," because he needed to sort of like rise up or whatever the fuck happened at the end of the first one.
Well,
Hey, I just realized this just quickly.
Yep.
In the first one, Neo jumps inside Agent Smith, thus freeing him from the Matrix.
Yep.
In the third one, Agent Smith tries to imprint Neo. So it's like the reverse. He's trying to go into him. You know what I mean? I never thought about that before. Because he actually, in the first one, it's quite weird because Neo like physically like just dives into his body and then makes it explode from the inside. Yeah.
Yep. And then Agent Smith's
just popping a hand in.
Exactly. Well, the one thing that also resonates a little bit with me is right at the end, the architect is talking to the Oracle when everything's kind of
sunshine.
Yep. And he says, "You play something along the lines of you play a very dangerous game."
Yes.
And so this, I don't know what that means. And I think it's the lies Oracle is telling Neo and letting Agent Smith get that powerful. I think that's so because Agent Smith almost kind of takes over the Matrix, makes a bit of a foolish step and kind of, vessels Neo and returns to the source. And it was dangerous because if he didn't do that, then potentially
that Matrix is wrecked.
Yeah. So I think that's what it means, but that it's obviously not meant to have any answers. Cool. It's kind of subject to interpretation, a bit like the Bible.
Yeah, I think those two are very, very similar in that sense, and I love the Matrix movies. Just wish they were better, but I do.
Yeah, I will watch the.
I was about to say because last week when we talked about the Matrix, I said I was going to ask you the same question as I did last week, which is, have you seen the new Matrix?
I forgot about it. I will watch it, but I also want to watch. I will watch the new Top Gun this weekend as well. But it's shitting me a little bit that I'm watching these like remakes and things. Get a new idea.
Okay, here's what happens. Right? Here's what happens. It's not about getting new ideas. We don't like new ideas.
There's a market, like a built-in market already.
We hate new ideas. No, it's not just the built-in. It is the built-in market, but it's this. In the 1990s, Hollywood came for your parents' money. They wanted all of it. The movies, the T-shirts, the fucking lunchboxes. They wanted all your money, right?
Yeah.
Now we're old men and women, and they're coming for our children's money, but they also want our money.
Yeah, we're the ones with the money now.
They want both monies. They want the kid money. The kid dollar's still strong, don't get me wrong.
They want that intergenerational money.
yeah, but they want to give you your childhood back in the form of a new Transformers movie, which I think was like the first thing that got majorly rebooted. You know what I mean? Like where they're like, oh, we're going to do a massive Transformers movie. And everyone got pretty pumped.
That was always going to be sick. Right? As in, that was always going to draw. Everyone loves, Transformers my life.
Yeah. And then they'll go make new Star Wars movies, and then they'll do, they're coming for my money now, man. They want my money, and I'm giving it to them.
You're giving it to them.
Because even though the Star Wars movies, the new ones, were trash, it's still lore that I need to know. It's just history that I need to know. You know what I mean? I don't even care. Like, I could go in going, oh, this is going to be fucking trash, but then I'll still need to know.
This is where King James fucked up a little bit with the King James Bible version of the Bible, right? No remakes.
Reboots. Well, there's been a bunch of remakes.
Well, there's been other texts and things. But no, but he tried to make it, this is the last one. This is the final version. It's done, right? But then he forgot about the intergenerational money.
Yeah, true.
Although it seems to sell pretty well. So
George Lucas would have done a special edition 10 years later, and then followed up with a sequel trilogy, and then followed that with like
all those extra scenes, like more CGI. Yeah. I think the Bible could do with a bit of CGI, a bit of a tidy up.
Yeah, I mean, there are some Bible movies out there, but they're not.
Oh no, I mean like just the Bible itself as a text. I've been trying to read it, and it is brutally painful.
You have been reading it for some time. You usually just read a couple of passages here and there.
Yeah, well, a couple of pages. I read the first 400 pages in about 3 months of just like reading a couple of pages every night, and I was in the habit of doing it, and it just got too painful, and I wasn't really getting a lot out of it. One thing that pissed me off is all the names in it. It's constantly introducing new people, and then it doesn't stay with them.
What, it just bounces to the next thing?
Like it just sometimes it's just name dropping. I Googled how many names are in the Bible, how many names get mentioned, because I was a bit overwhelmed by it. Apparently 3,237 Bible characters.
That's like more than the pages.
Yep. I don't know how many pages there is. It depends on what version you like. I've got the King James version, but I have a lot of pictures in mine.
Yeah, you got some pictures?
Yeah, just because it's so dense. I think it's so painfully dense that they put some pictures in there to kind of lighten it up a bit. But they're all people getting crucified and
you're talking about a lot of characters, because you're talking about a lot of generations, right? Because they're obviously like, I don't know how long the Old Testament goes for, but that'd be a long time. New Testament's pretty Jesus focused, so that wouldn't be too long.
Yeah,
right?
It's just one lifetime, really, isn't it?
Yeah. Whereas the other one would be covering a bunch, right?
Oh, sure. Yeah. Well, it seems very sort of factual in a way, because it's so many names. It seems like they're trying to trace the lineage of people, but then you're like, this was written, how many thousands of years after it. So you're not going to have, that data. You're not going to have that information.
Well,
so they just with someone making it up, with someone like, oh yeah,
no, not the Old Testament. Not the Old Testament. New Testament. Around 120 to 200 years around.
I was talking about the Old Testament.
Yeah, I know, but that one was an established book already. That was already an established book. It's the book. It's the Torah.
Yeah. But I mean, someone wrote that, right?
Yeah.
So they had to that spans hundreds of generations.
Yeah. Okay.
So that data wasn't kept. The accuracy of that doubtful.
Well, yeah.
I could agree they could get some important people, right? Some of those names could resonate through history, and they might have those, right? Like maybe.
Yeah, the big ones.
The big ones. Yeah, but no, I was a bit over it. I don't know. I've lost. So I skipped to the Isaiah book, the book of Isaiah, because that one's the really controversial ones with the sort of the red areas of the US, and this is supposed to be the Armageddon type situation. The coming again this is the one that sort of prophesizes the coming again of Jesus, and that there
happens.
Yeah. So I was like, I want to read that one, and it coincidentally had the Smith reference in it.
Yeah, I love that.
That one still wasn't very, and it's too much. It's too. I do plan to finish it, so I can say I've finished I've read the most important text in Western civilization, but I'm not getting a lot out of it. Like there's no answers. It's confusing to follow. And as I said, the Bhagavad Gita is far better written. The meaning from that like resonates, whereas I find the Bible it just does not resonate. Anyway, that's just my interpretation.
It's weird how it's like Jesus coming back is like this a signal of the end times. You know what I mean? Like, wouldn't it be a good thing? No, it's not good. It's bad. Well, it's good. It's good for you if you're down with Jesus.
Yeah,
it's
if you're on board, get on board.
Yeah, if not, it's bad. Yeah.
Are you on board? Getting on board?
Yeah. I'll get on board.
One day.
Yeah, look, what about you, man? Are you on board?
Oh, no, not with that.
No, but what if he came down, man, and he was like, "Here I am," I'd be like, "Yeah, all right, that's pretty cool."
But people would just laugh him off, right? Imagine how ripped to shreds Jesus would get on Twitter.
Yeah, no, he would.
There's no way.
He'd have to do it.
There's no way you can do it in this day and age. Yeah, like
no, he'd need magic. He'd need literally magic.
You would need magic. You would need proper miracles, things that people cannot.
Yeah,
I don't know. What that.
Yeah, no, run on water.
You can't just be nice to everyone and get crucified.
No. Do the run on water thing. Do the loaves.
Oh,
yeah, convert a loaf of bread into heaps, and convert a fish into many. And people will go like, "Look, that's pretty accurate. I'm willing to go with that."
That was impressive. What about like a really good phone? What if Jesus came along and he had like the iPhone 30? Is that enough?
Well, why would he have the iPhone 30?
Because he's Jesus.
Well, he's from
magic.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
Yeah, he's got magic.
No.
And you'd be like,
no.
He's got the iPhone.
No, heaven is current tech.
Heaven only has current technology.
Did you not know that?
I never really thought about it.
No, it only has current technology.
I thought it would have
no, it doesn't.
Tech. I thought it would be old, very analog.
Why would it be old?
Because they don't need the new stuff to be happy.
All right, what's the oldest piece of technology, building technology you can think of?
A wheel.
Yeah, okay. He's got a wheel. So there's wheels. There's just wheels.
A wheel, shovel, chisel.
No, because I've actually looked this up, man. I actually know what I'm talking about on the issue. There's gates in heaven. Yeah, so the gates of heaven. So gates.
So got screws.
Well, the concept of gates, is as older, than gates themselves.
Wait, when did Gates come around?
After that.
Wow.
Because he popped heaven in first, right?
Yeah,
he popped heaven in first. Popped the gate in, and then humans independently built gates.
Maybe they've got a automatic door now.
Yeah, well, actually, I don't see that kind of doesn't go with my point at all, because the gates existed before humans invented gates.
So maybe they've got something that's even a more advanced gate now, like a wormhole.
Oh yeah, so they get in. They
keep ahead of the tech.
I don't think maybe they're just completely different. Why would we even assume that they'd go down the same road as us? You know, maybe they don't have phones.
I did say a wormhole.
Now, look, I'd say it's current tech. But the Simpsons had escalators going to heaven, I'm pretty sure, at some point. Escalator, that's pretty standard.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Look, there's been something that's been on my mind. It's more of it's more to do with sports, but it just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I thought you might be able to kind of just like mull over it and tell me if I'm insane or not. But you know NFL, you know American football.
Yeah, it's a strange sport for me to watch.
Why's that?
Because it's very stop-starty.
Yes.
They play for a few seconds sometimes, and then they stop playing. And they have a meeting.
What I've noticed is when I look at the best plays and the most exciting plays they do, it's normally a backward pass But so normally there's two ways that these plays go down, right? They either hand off, like a small backward pass, or hand off to a runner, and they run a bit and fall over.
Yeah, yeah.
Or the quarterback throws the ball forward.
Which is exciting.
They catch the ball, and that's the end of the play. The best plays they do, and they're rare, is when they hand off to someone behind them, and the person who has been handed off the ball throws it. That's a big one.
Because it's not the QB.
It's not the QB. And everyone loses their mind. They're like, what the fuck is going on? Like, that guy can't throw the ball. And then sometimes they do. One of the other big ones is when they hand it off to someone running one direction, and they hand it off again to someone running the other direction. Yeah, they double hand off. Yeah,
can they do that?
I know. The defense never knows what's happening. The commentators are always losing their marbles over it.
They love it.
And then there's another one where they throw forward, and then that player throws it back. Right, yeah, and they normally only do this. They normally only do this on the final play of the game because they have to keep the ball alive.
Yep.
Right now, I'm not an expert on rugby, okay, but they pass backwards for a living.
That's what they do.
That's what they do. They run in lines. Everyone's behind the other guy, and they pass backwards and they try and penetrate the line. What I want to see is just a mediocre rugby team enter into the NFL and play a rugby style game. Maybe they can still do the quarterback throws and stuff, but they base their game around passing backwards laterally and often, right? And I understand that if you drop the ball, it's a turnover. It can be a fumble, right? And if the other team gets the ball, then it's a turnover, which is a very big problem. But don't drop the ball, right? Like, just be careful with your passes. And just take the hit.
If you knock on in rugby, so you drop the ball and then knock it forward, that's a penalty.
That's a turnover.
Is it a turnover in rugby?
Is it a turnover? Yeah.
Are you sure?
They're showing how. I'm pretty sure it's.
So we're turning it over. So they're not going to drop the ball, and they're not going to.
Even if they knock it forward, it's either incomplete because they didn't catch the ball properly, or it's just a fumble and they can recover their own ball. It's not the end of the world. It's even a better situation than what it is in rugby.
True though. If you do a lateral.
Yeah.
Does that still have the same laws attached to it in regards to incomplete passes than a QB throw?
Yeah, it does. I think if you laterally backwards and drop it, it's incomplete.
Wow. Okay.
So I want multiple passes. I want them to move in the ball. I want every play to be like the last play of the game.
Yes, because that's it. That will be exciting, right?
It'll be so exciting. And then you don't have these 3-second plays that you're talking about. You have 20-second plays with 6 passes.
Turnovers and 3 turnovers. Yeah, like big running plays. This team's been out there for 1.5 minutes so far. No, but like...
reason. Obviously, this doesn't work intrinsically, right?
There is. Because in my dumb brain...
Or have I just broken the game? Yeah, hit me.
My dumb brain that knows nothing about NFL, nothing about rugby, goes, that'd work. In my head, I'm like, that would work. They would dominate. The rugby team would go out there.
Yep, sorry.
You're back. The rugby team would just go out there and dominate, man. They would just dominate. That's what my dumb brain thinks.
That's what my dumb brain thinks.
Yeah. But we're obviously wrong.
We are wrong. I want someone to explain to me why that wouldn't work. I want to see... Firstly, I just haven't seen multiple lateral passes in games. I haven't seen it tried. They're just all assuming it doesn't work.
Yeah, it's like when you go to NFL school, they sit you down on the first day and they go, we wear these kinds of pads, we wear these kinds of helmets, and we only throw laterals in the last play of the game if we absolutely have to. And no other point do we do laterals. Like, just chuck it in at the first play. It would fuck with people. Yeah. It would fuck with people.
And you know what? Go out there, just no protective equipment, but the helmet. Just be like a real slippery, fast sucker. But then, you get hit once and, it's over.
You know what's funny, man, is that an NFL coach, would look at the playbook that we're doing. Like, he'd go, all right, so they dominated last week against some team because they didn't know what they were doing. How do we counter this? And they would learn to counter. They would learn to counter it like instantly. You know what I mean? They'd just be like, okay, so from now on, we are just running forward and stopping the passes. We're just standing in the way of the passes now, like waiting for them.
But then you adapt, and then you start playing normally, right? And now you're back on top. It's all mind
Just playing a
games.
classic,
Next
yeah,
level.
classic
Next
NFL
level.
game, and they start dominating. Yeah, yeah, definitely. No, it's funny because like I'm not used to those kinds of sports, right? You know, I either see it's a big there's a big range in Australian sport. It's either cricket, which seems like really boring if you were from an outsider looking in. Like if you had
Mm,
only watched NFL, you'd be like, man, that cricket game looks fucking boring. And that's because everyone's just standing around for the majority of it. You know what I
mm,
mean? Just
mm.
not doing anything. And football is the exact opposite, where it's dudes running marathons, you know, before your eyes every Friday. You know, they're just smashing out a
Actually, don't
marathon.
run that far. Like the record's
I thought
15K
they did.
in a game or
I thought
16
they
or
did
something.
run marathons.
No, not even close. Not even close.
Not
Like
even
a good
close.
midfielder runs about 12K, which is like
Oh, okay.
I run 14K to
Sure.
work, but it's different because it's the intensity
Yeah.
I don't they're doing any sprinting, right? I'm keeping a constant pace, and that's very efficient
Yes.
for doing long distances. Whereas yeah, they have to carry weight firstly to
Burst.
protect themselves, and they have to
Yeah.
burst. So can you imagine, like, you know, if Dangerfield's running 12K in like tackling, bursting through packs,
Yeah.
chasing, yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty intense.
Yeah. Do you think there's players out there now because there's technology involved now? Like they'll put a chip in you, essentially, you know, so they can like monitor your heart rate and stuff, and monitor how you're going, like how you
Oh
feeling,
yeah,
or
the
whatever.
chip straight in, yeah, rather than carrying around that, lugging around the GPS unit.
Yeah. Just chip them in. They've probably chipped them already. They just don't know. Do you reckon like that you'd be worried because like the Eagles are playing pretty dog shit at the moment?
Oh man.
If you were like an Eagles player, but you had to like get your steps in or something, you know what I mean? So like it's late game and you look down and you're like, man, I've only done like 8Ks or something. You start like, you
Running
know,
off your
get a
man.
little bit of a jog on, just jogging on the spot, maybe. I don't know, like jogging in a circle, trying to get your quick steps in or some shit.
You
I don't
run
know.
towards the bench and then like, oh no, I'm still out here, run back.
There's too much data now, man. There's too much data.
It would freak them out if they leave their GPS unit like on the bench or something, or leave it off and they've got all the data still. They'll start questioning.
True. But no, that's just access to technology. It used to be like, oh, we got to play harder and whatnot. Now it's like we need 3% more efficiency out of everybody because everybody's not giving us that 3%, and we got the data to prove it.
Just juice them up.
Yeah.
Man,
But, yeah.
you're not really into running, right?
No,
No,
but
you can't.
you did have your marathon the other week, and just an impressive feat, 42 point something kilometers, right? That's
195. Well, no, I did the 80K, the
oh
double
my
marathon.
god,
I almost said that was horrible.
oh my god.
But
Yeah.
I'm firmly of the belief that we evolved to run.
Yes.
Firmly. And so, in a way, I feel like when you're not running, you're not engaging your body in the very thing it was evolved to do, which is not optimal.
Yeah.
And the reason, I mean, there's a book called Born to Run, which is fascinating. And
Yeah.
it sort of propagates that sort of the whole theory, but there's a whole bunch of things in it that like when you tie them all together, it's pretty cool. Like your Achilles tendon and your calf, like that kind of the whole Achilles calf complex that you got going on is so well adapted to running. And these things that we have the adaptions for, other animals don't. So distance running is something. The whole premise is that he thinks, and I think a lot of people think that the premise is that we would slowly chase food, and it would get exhausted, and then we'd kill it. So we'd just run it into the ground. They're faster than us, but we can keep going. And because we're more, you know, we've got more developed, I guess, brains as well, we can use this strategy to our advantage, whereas the animals are a bit more like acting on impulse, whereas we can sort of, you know, deduce what we need to do and be like, oh, this is all we have to do. It's simple, you know, not get distracted by like smelling the bushes and things. But your Achilles tendon, when you run properly and you have more of a front foot strike, it's like a big elastic band. they apparently get 35% of the energy from that you put into the ground back with no effort. So like an elastic band effect,
Mental.
which is a fair bit, and
Yeah,
there's
I always
always
think that like my Achilles tendon would be like a really old, thick, lucky band, the one that you just give it a little
it's
bit,
like a
just
big
give it a
plonk,
minute,
big flop.
just give it a little. No, it just clear. It just snaps. It'll just snap. And I've watched that movie where the guy gets his Achilles tendon like slashed. It's like a horror movie. It's like
Oh
they.
man,
Have you seen that? So they sit him down in a chair and they go slash his Achilles tendons, both of them, and then they go. He's like, yeah, you can leave. Like you can leave if you want. Like run away. And the guy goes to try and run away, and obviously he just
just
like
falls in a mess.
collapses. Yeah,
Because
yeah.
it's the biggest, thickest tendon in your body.
But like football players snap their Achilles, right? What are they
Yeah.
doing to do that? Are they doing something wrong, or is it
I
just
think
luck of
I
the
think
draw?
sometimes it's just the way it's engaged. It's probably a lot of things. Fatigue is the biggest factor. If that's why late in games you can get injuries because as your certain muscles get fatigued and exhausted, other muscles might engage more or unusually because to
Yeah.
compensate. So say you've got really tired, say your calves are getting exhausted, you might really rely on, you might do some explosive movement and in an awkward way, and you've really engaged your Achilles tendon in an awkward way, and it apparently just rips right off the bone.
Oh my god.
Pops, and it
So that's
sounds
my
like a
biggest
gunshot.
nightmare.
Apparently, it sounds like a gunshot.
Oh, shut up.
Yeah, people say they hear
Shut
him go. They
up.
hear him. Yeah, and they're like, "What the fuck was that?"
Oh no. And how does it heal?
You have to get surgically reattached.
Whoa.
Man, have you ever seen a video of sometimes it snaps at the bottom
Yeah.
and it goes
Yeah.
high and it's like a big ball because now that there's nothing holding it down, it's always under tension, right? That muscle's under tension.
Mm.
But
Yeah, no, that's horrifying.
your glutes, biggest muscle in the body, they're perfectly positioned and adapted for running. So you've got your biggest tendon in the body, perfectly adapted for running, your biggest muscle in your body, perfectly suited for running. You've got slow twitch muscle fibers compared to other animals. And so fast twitch is like, there's sprinters and cheaters and things have that kind of explosive. And
Their Achilles looks pretty good. Whatever they have, their equivalent.
They don't have
their legs.
Achilles.
Their legs.
Yeah, they don't have Achilles though. And one thing we also have is we breathe independently of our running gait. So cheaters can only breathe. They can expand their lungs when they reach out with their hands, and they contract their lungs when they pull in. So they can only breathe in rhythm with their stride, which is not efficient. Whereas we can regulate our breathing and breathe at any rate independent of how our body's operating, which is like just an insane advantage. And then we've got the classic hairless bodies, evaporative cooling. That's something that's hugely adapted. Like, when I see Luffingham, he can't sweat. That's why dogs are always breathing out of their mouth with their tongues out, because that's how they release heat.
Okay, cool, yeah.
Whereas
you would
like
say
a built-in aircon to cool the body down. So
we're
just running along. We're getting all this energy back, like not just your tendons and your calves, not just your Achilles and your calves. Your foot is also designed in a way that it like absorbs and then releases. It's like it's rigid but elastic as well. So it kind of gets the best of both worlds. You've got these really short toes compared to all the other animals. So you've got that, you can get that running action.
Should we be running barefoot?
It's all there. Well, we actually, not all the time, but if you are someone that doesn't run, you 100% should be going down and running barefoot at your local park, and you'll develop a far better running style than if you're chucking on shoes and trying to go for a run. Like, I reckon for the first month or two, if you're trying to get into running, you should be running on grass, so you're not getting a heel strike, and you'll naturally get that that front foot strike that I was talking about, and you'll start engaging your calves and your...
Yeah, but this is the problem. What would end up happening is I would start running. Wow, this is great. I'm really enjoying this. This is the best. Achilles tendon, snapperoo. And then...
You won't, because you build up to it. And everything strengthens.
Yeah, yeah, no, I believe it. You look at this more of a you look at this as a very existentially almost in that you're like trying to fulfill your purpose in your running.
Um, I'll think about it. I don't want to say yes
You're
or no.
honoring the design of the you know you're saying yeah
Yeah, yeah.
we're meant to do this as humans. This is what we're built for. So I'm going to do it
But this,
and
yes, yes,
um
yes.
and have food after, without killing it.
Yeah, so you're saying what's the point in a way? But I
No, no,
think
no, no,
when,
no, no,
when you
no.
get, yeah, well, you don't
You're
need,
connecting with the your biohistory. You're in touch with uh,
I guess,
your bio ancestry. Yeah,
but there's
I don't think
also
there's
these
anything wrong with
other
that.
things because if you get your body, it's all
It's all
connected, right?
linked. It's all
The
linked.
runner's high is
Oh
100%
no.
connecting. This
Oh
is
no.
another
But
thing
of
about
course
how
it
we
is. But
adapted
of
for running.
course it is. But of course it is.
The
Of course it
endorphins,
is.
everything's working properly. You're breathing deeply. Your body's it's almost charging up.
I reckon if you did a Google search for running is bad for the brain, and then did a Google search for running is good for the brain, I think the Google search results will be in the running is good for the brain overwhelmingly.
Overwhelmingly, you won't find anything saying running's bad for the brain. You will
Yeah,
find things saying running's bad for the body, but that's bad. Running is bad for the body. Running with bad form is bad for the body. Running with good form is not so problematic. I don't want to say well, the benefits far outweigh the negatives, that's for sure.
yeah,
But the endorphins you get from running, that's also a survival mechanism. That's like, it's a
yep, yep.
reward for effort. It's to keep you going. That's a thing. Otherwise, you wouldn't do it. And it's necessary to survive. So it's like
It needs
back
to.
in the day, it needs you to do this. So the things that were successful were the things that were rewarded for effort and running. And so
That's
you evolve.
fascinating
So the
because it's
things
not
that
even
don't have the
it's not even
motivation,
a thought. It's not even a thought. It's not you going, man, that thing over there looks tasty. I'm going to go run and eat it. It's the it's the brain sending. It almost has to trick you. The brain is
yeah,
sending a
yeah.
signal
It's like
down.
it's giving you a
It's
little
in,
carrot.
but it's built into your your what would you call it? Your central
The
nervous
bio,
system.
yeah,
It's like
yeah.
it's built in so that because it can't trust you to think about it. It's not going to be like, no, no, no. I need to release the molecules that make him
Yeah, you just can't
run.
logically or rationally just go like, do this. Because when we weren't thinking when we were a bit more primitive, right? Because we've evolved from more primitive things. Right now, if I knew I could use logic to deduce that I have to run to like let's say I just can use logic to deduce I have to run to get this animal, and I can keep running. I can figure it out, and I can get the animal, and that's fine. But back when I was a bit more, we were a bit more primitive, and you're not thinking as logical. Yeah, your brain has to trick your
Give you,
body into doing, and it's pain. It's quite a euphoric. It can be quite euphoric. It reduces pain, and you can get some pain doing like lots of running, because otherwise, if you feel the pain, you're
yeah.
going to
Okay, so
avoid the pain.
the pain meds are built into the running as well because it understands that you're probably going to experience some pain on your journey. So
Yeah,
it'll
so it
give
doesn't
you
want
some
that to limit
cultural
you from
painkillers. Yeah,
succeeding. So it limits the
no,
pain.
makes sense. It's just doing what it needs to do to survive, like to make the whole thing work out.
Yeah, yeah, I 100% subscribe to that, and it's hard to get to the point of actually. It takes 20 minutes of nice consistent running before your body kicks into running mode, and you actually start to get some kind of like good feeling from it. When you get in a rhythm, you're breathing nice and deeply and rhythmically, and your body's warmed up a bit, and everything's going well, and then you can just keep doing it. But a lot of people
Is
can't
this
get to the point.
is this almost like a getting to a happy place because of like you're doing an 80-kilometer run, yeah? So you get into your rhythm, you've got your breathing going, and you're zoning out, right? And
Yeah,
then maybe you wake up and it's 10 minutes later because you're hypnotized by the
yeah,
road, like the feeling of running and all that sort of stuff. It just sort of like wipes your memory because it's dealing with like current body trauma. Like it's going no, it's all fine, we're all right, we're having a great time here. We are having a great time. We're not having a bad time. It's a great time. What, those last 10 kilometers just went like that. Don't even think about, look at this, look how beautiful. It's your brain tricking you, right, and deleting all the shit. Like people, when they have children, they go like some people go like, let's have another baby or whatever. Like they go, let's do it. Like let's do it again. And like the trauma of the birth is like already deleted from the mind for survival purposes.
That would be traumatic as well, right? Yeah.
For, like survival purposes, it goes no. Like another one.
I bet you guys come out of the birthing procedure and they're going like, fuck, when she says like she wants to have another one, they're probably like, fuck, she wants to do that again. Like,
yeah.
You fucking kidding me? Like, all right, if she wants to.
Yeah, that's it's fascinating. It's fascinating. I'd say it's something similar going on with your running thing, but I'm more of like the approach of the Komodo dragon. You familiar with those animals?
Yeah, are they the ones that bite you and
they live on an island called like Komodo. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
And they're just big. Okay. They're just big lizards. Big lizard boys. They're like big version of a monitor lizard.
How big are we talking? Like a meter?
No, bigger than a meter.
Bigger than a meter.
Yeah. So what they like?
What's like a human size?
Yeah, I'd say it's comparable to a human. Yeah. Okay. Let's say it's a human-sized reptile. Yeah, we'll just call it that. Actually, I've just found it now. They adult males between 79 and 91 kilo. Adult female between 68 73 kilo. And basically these scumbags, right, either just bite you or lick you or some shit. And the amount of like poisonous shit that they've got going on in their mouth and the bacteria, I think it's the bacteria.
Yeah.
It essentially kills the target over the next couple of weeks.
Just get septic.
So yeah. So what they showed this one where this Komodo's just like bitten this ox on the back of a leg, like a full ox. It's just snuck up on it. They're pretty slow, but it says here they can move at 20 kilometers an hour, which seems kind of quick. So, but they're not. Then they don't need to be quick because what they do is they just bite this ox on the leg and follow it around for a couple of weeks and wait for it to die. And that's what it does.
Yeah.
The documentary was so like, you know how I've talked about nature documentaries, like you just get to see the highlights, the cool shots, all that sort of stuff, right? But this was like the ox is at the watering hole a couple of days later, having a bit of a drink. And there's the Komodo in the background just looking at him. Just like, yep. Waiting. I'm just waiting.
His lips.
I'm just waiting. And the fucked up thing is that once this thing dies or becomes to a point where it just decides I can just go in and eat this thing now, you know what I mean? Where it's just dying or dead.
Yeah.
The Komodo dragon consumes every part of the animal.
Is it like a snake? Does it just like eat the whole thing into its belly, or does it?
No. I think it just eats on it. I think it just gnaws on it, but it'll eat the fucking bones of this ox, man. Like it's what they do, because obviously they're not getting a meal like too often, right? They've got to plan it out a bit more. Like crocodiles will just eat once a week. They only have like a little bit once a week. That's all they need to eat. They're efficient. They're efficient animals, but they're slow. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay, I see. Yeah, see, they don't need to chase something down for 80 kilometers.
You just got to toil for weeks on end.
Just hang around. And the prey doesn't even run away, probably, right? It probably just starts feeling unwell and just sits down. Like, so they don't. They probably just watch it from afar. Yeah,
they don't watch it from that far. They'll just be like 5-6 meters away, just going, there it is. There's the target, but it's not going to chase it, or because it doesn't need to. It's just waiting.
Yeah.
Oh God, it's so awful. It's like it's waiting for the dinner bell to ring. It's so scary.
Have you seen
people live there though? People live on Komodo. Like there's people that live there.
Terrifying. Would you rather be around Komodo dragons or crocodiles? Like when I say around them, would you rather be in an environment that contains? Because up north in the
I'm going to go
Kimberley.
with Komodos, man, because the island has seen a lot of people live there, so they might be more chill. Like, I'm going to
Yeah,
go hang out with the Komodos because crocodiles, man, they're just dinosaurs. They want to kill me, man.
yeah. They don't really. They just see movement. They're hungry and they just go at it.
And when I said that they were slow, I wasn't putting shit on them, by the way. When I said that that they're slow, I just mean in their normal operating mode. But crocodiles can go quick when they have to, both in the water and on the land. So I'm not fucking with that, man. I'm not fucking with that. No chance.
Yeah.
And
Speaking of
it's a bit of a theme of our show. But fuck dinosaurs. You know?
fuck dinosaurs,
Yeah, fuck the dinosaurs. You know? That's the the meteor. The meteor. The meteor.
dinosaurs.
We hate
Yeah.
dinosaurs.
Speaking of nature documentaries and stuff, have you
Yeah, go on.
seen? It's called Battle of Kruger or Battle at Kruger or something like that.
No.
Kruger National Park's in South Africa.
Yeah.
It's a super famous one. And
Yeah.
there's these lions that spring a group of buffalo, and when like the lions work together essentially, and they pick on a little water buffalo, so they try and separate a little water buffalo from the herd.
Yeah.
Anyway, they get this thing, and there's like 4 or 5 lions like just chewing on this baby water buffalo, and it's in the water. It ends up in the water because it's trying to run away, and they're just like sinking their teeth into its neck, just waiting for it to perish, and then they can have a nice little meal. And so they're just all over it. And then because they're in the edge of the water, a crocodile comes up, and because it probably doesn't really know what it's doing, it latches onto the tail end of the water buffalo.
Yeah,
and then
I've
you've
seen
got
this.
this
Incredible.
pulling match between the herd of lions and this crocodile.
Yeah.
And then eventually this commotion goes on for quite some time, like a couple of minutes. It's pretty traumatic. You just assume the water buffalo is dead.
And you're also thinking that either the crocodile is going to walk away with a meal here or the pride of lions, yeah?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And it is just the most heartwarming end to it. All the water buffalo come up, this huge herd of them. They're terrified of the lions, right? But they know one of their own is in trouble. And they form like this really big, intimidating wall. And then they slowly, one by one, charge the lions and charge them away. And they take the little water buffalo back into the pack. It walks back in there. And you're like,
It's incredible.
the thing might die, it will bleed out later or something, but it seems to be okay, like surprisingly okay. I thought it was just going to be a limp piece of meat at the end.
Here's the fascinating thing about that, which is basically everything, but the tactics, right? The lions are going after the small thing, which is what other lions would do and other predators would do who hunt in groups. They'd do the same tactics. These tactics are not lion tactics. They're like pack predator tactics, and other animals would share those tactics, right? Whether they know the lions or not, or hang out with them or not, right? They'd use the same tactics because it works, right?
Yeah.
Because it works. Then the crocodile goes, this is my opportunity. This is my time to show my tactic, which is grab the thing and drag it into the water, right? Which is my jam. This is what I do, right?
Yeah.
Water buffalo with the line, there's intimidation going on. There's the wall. There's like it's a real strength pose, right? And it's strength in numbers as well. There's 4 of you, but there's 20 of us.
They could just stampede you.
Yeah, and they end up saving the day. And it's like when you're watching that, you're never thinking that this thing is going to be okay. You're like, oh my God, who's going to win? Who's going to win? Like that's what you're thinking.
And you think, when is this thing going to be torn apart? But by the
play
two
Lord
things,
of the Rings music, play fucking Gandalf music because like there's a big army that come over the hill and fuck them up. It's the same thing. Oh man, such a cool thing though. That's pretty neat. You should actually check that out. There's an Instagram called like Nature is Metal, and it's a lot of that.
Yeah,
you'd love it.
I'll check it out.
You'd love it. Good job, man. That's going to be it. Episode 5 ski
in the bag. I've got one more little thing very quickly.
Yeah.
I am doing from tomorrow, 1 June. I'm doing this push-up challenge. 3,139 push-ups over 24 days. You can donate at the link. You don't have
for
to know.
sure.
Just ask me about it to see how I'm going. And the number of 3,139, it's a pretty morbid statistic, but it is actually represents how many Australians suicided in 2020. It's a thing
Oh,
to
man.
raise a spotlight on mental health and you know, mental illness generally, and just encourages people to, you know, talk to people about things and whatnot, because I don't think a lot of people are familiar with the, you know, the statistic. It's quite a lot. It's unnecessary.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I don't know how the push-ups come into it, but someone just invited me from sort of work to do it, and I thought that sounds pretty tough. It's about 130 push-ups a day, and I don't do
I was
push-ups.
wondering what the split was going to be. 130 push-ups a day.
Yeah, I think my strategy is going to be though. Come in, I haven't done push-ups in so long. It's going to be brutal, and I'll be doing, you know, push-ups on my knees and stuff. But I'm counting that, because like otherwise I'm not going to be able to do it. I think I'm going to start off with like maybe 60 a day, then yeah, build up maybe like 80, 100, 120, and then, or maybe even more than that. I end up doing like over 6 days. On the sixth day, maybe I do 200, like on the weekend or something.
Wow.
And then I need to
Wow.
have a day off. I think the most essential thing is having a day off to give.
Write this down.
Yeah, I'm writing. I've got a pen.
Not you.
Oh,
No, not you. I'm talking to the listener. Write this down.
you're
Take
going
a
to give me
break.
some advice.
Take a break. Right? All right, go on.
That's it. That's my advice. And then I just get back into it. I
Oh,
just don't
great.
think I'm going to be able to do 130 every day for 24 days. I think I'm going to start, I have to somehow build my way into it and then have a day off. Yeah. So ask me about that next week. I'll tell you how it's going.
Yeah, I want to know how it's going, but also, why wouldn't you just try and see where you're at now and just go for
It's
whatever
too
you
late.
can do?
It's tomorrow. I need to stay fresh.
No, not today. I'm just mean when you first have a crack at it, wouldn't you just go for as long as you could?
Yeah, you're right. Maybe I'll do 130 tomorrow. I'll do that for a while, and then
I don't know why you're setting it up a threshold. You know, why don't you could do 2,000 tomorrow, man. Who knows?
yeah, I might just get, you know, hit nail on the head, 500 just off the bat. I'll let you know. All right.
Yeah, sounds good. We'll see you next time.
Yeah, peace out.